Thank you once again, everyone, for coming out tonight. At this time, Joel and Kelly Odell are going to bless us.
You want to put this on a stand? So, I'm assuming that some of you here don't know why you're here. So I'll begin with explaining my story, my wife's story. A month ago today, my father and my mother, my father Delmer Odell and my mother Dolores Odell, and my youngest daughter Kieran Odell, who was 3, died in a car accident. I won't go too great a detail of what happened, but I will tell you that my next youngest daughter, Phoebe, is sitting over there in a neck brace, and she survived the accident. I'm going to turn it over to my wife here a second, then I'm going to come back.
There we go. Okay. Well, what we wanted to first of all tell you guys is that one of the things that has been uplifting us the most through all of this is the love that we are being shown by God and by all of you. When word first got out on Facebook, before Joel and I could even think about explaining to people what happened, and the immediate outpouring of love just took our breath away. We were getting texts, we were getting Facebook posts, we were getting phone calls. I mean, it was just incredible the way that word spread. And that first night, I had to stay in the hospital with Phoebe, and I couldn't sleep, stayed awake all night, and all I could do was just look at all of the comments on Facebook and all of the texts that were being sent to us, and it was what got me through that first night. So I wanted you guys to hear about this. The next morning after that first night, I finally plucked up the courage to post something on Facebook, and it was just very simple. It had a picture of our daughter Kieran, and just kind of explaining how I felt. It was very short, very sweet. Joel that night had to spend the night in a hotel with our older 2, Jesse and Leah. We didn't want them to be without one of us, so he went there, and I ended up having to be at the hospital by myself. But unbeknownst to me, he couldn't sleep either, and he was posting on Facebook about the same time that I did, and it was the picture. It's the one that's been shared on the news of the 3 of them at Kieran's 3rd birthday party. He came to the hospital about 4:30 a.m. that next morning because he couldn't sleep and he needed to be with me. By that time, my parents had come in they're from Mississippi. They were in Florida and had to drive all the way up here to get to us. So they got here, and so they went and stayed with Jesse and Leah while Joel came to be with me. And we were just sitting there in that empty, quiet hospital room, and just in despair. We just didn't know what to do. All we could talk about was how empty we felt. Joel just kept wanting his most trusted, wise counsel, his parents, to walk through that door and help us get through this situation. But they weren't going to come, and we felt very alone. We cried and we prayed, and all we could feel was despair. But then about 7 o'clock that morning, a friend from Tennessee posted a song on Facebook for us called "Oh My Soul" by Casting Crowns. We never heard this song before. We didn't know anything about it, but we decided to sit there together and listen to it. And the lyrics say, "Oh my soul, you are not alone. There's a place where fear has to face the God you know. One more day, he will make a way. Let him show you how. You can lay this down, 'cause you're not alone." We just looked at each other, and how could someone know that this was the song that we needed at that exact moment? And there's one answer for that: God. Amen. We are not alone. Just a short while later, while we were talking to one of Phoebe's nurses next to her little resting body, Two figures appeared in the hospital room doorway, and they were our pastor from Tennessee, the only other person on this planet that Joel will listen to besides his parents, and one of my best friends from Tennessee that we hadn't seen in 3 years had driven 5.5 hours to be with us that morning. How did they know that we needed them at that specific time? One answer: God. We are not alone. As more and more close friends and family arrived, we started to realize that we were not alone. Then Joel and I checked Facebook again. We're used to around 100 likes and a few nice comments whenever we post, pictures of the kids. But when I looked at it, at my post, we had over 100 comments and growing to 220 comments of people that were praying for us. And honestly, I didn't even know we had that many friends on Facebook. I was very shocked. But then we looked at Joel's post. How was it possible that we were receiving 1,000 comments and over 575 shares of this post? One answer: God. We are not alone. We went through that day with a lot of activity surrounding Phoebe. She was supposed to have surgery on her arm, but she couldn't because her spine was not aligned correctly, and they were scared it might cause paralysis under anesthesia. So she had to be put in the neck and the torso brace. She was sick. She was in a lot of pain. And that night, this was that Friday night, they tried to give her a new medicine, and she had a violent reaction to that medicine. Scary. It was terrifying. And that night ended up being worse than the first night because I desperately wanted my baby girl in my arms. And I also desperately wanted my little girl to be healed. So what made me think that I should put another post on Facebook to ask for prayers for Phoebe? One answer: God. We are not alone. This post explained Phoebe's complications. It showed a picture of her in her hospital bed, and it asked everyone that could see it to start praying with us at 4:30 that day, because we were having elders and deacons, elders and pastors come anoint her with oil, lay hands on her, and pray over her. And I made the post at about 9 o'clock that morning. In 7 hours, that post was shared 2,100 times. It received 2,800 likes, and over 3,000 people commented that they would be praying at that time. It was incredible. And that doesn't even count the people that were commenting and liking on all the ones that were shared. How did this post reach so many? One answer: God. We are not alone. One of the pastors that was going to be praying with us had to fly in from Arkansas, and his flight got delayed, and he wasn't going to be there by 4:30. And I started getting worried, thinking, oh no, everybody else is praying at 4:30 and we're not praying, and what are we going to do? This is going to be awful. God's not going to do anything. He's not going to hear us. But about 4:35, like 5 minutes into this, my body felt the power of all those thousands of voices being raised to God at one time. My heart rate slowed down, my body got warm, and I knew that God was working. When we all got to the hospital and started praying at about 5:15, it was the most powerful thing I've ever experienced. I could envision Phoebe's spine, her broken spine, growing back together. I could see the bones in her arm moving back into place. And I knew that her sweet spirit would be restored because we were commanding Satan to stay away from her. Who has the power to heal our body, calm our souls, and save us from the evil one? Tell me one answer: God. We are not alone. The love and compassion just kept growing as we continued to receive comments and texts from those praying for our family. But then we started to receive cards and monetary gifts. People from all over the country were physically, not just digitally, reaching out to us. We kept asking each other, who do we know in Manassas, Virginia? Who do we know in Tallahassee, Florida? Who do we know in Colorado Springs, Colorado? We made the connections. since we researched it, but wow, I mean, we had people all over this nation praying for us that we didn't even know. How can people all over this nation be united for one family? One answer: God. We are not alone. And here we are at this amazing concert with two of the best bands in contemporary Christian music and hundreds of faces who have been praying for us. And we just want to say thank you. Centerpoint Church, thank you for showing what it means to be in Christ's family. Thank you, Showroom, for offering your establishment for this event. JJ Weeks Band and Unspoken, I've been following you guys on Facebook, and have seen how busy you guys are. And the fact that you guys would take time out of your busy schedules to come here for us tonight, I can't put it in words how much we appreciate it. Thank you so much. And a huge thank you to all of you who have been praying for us and loving on us through this entire experience. Like Joel said, today marks 1 month since the accident. We're still in a lot of pain. It hurts every day. And I know that that's not going to go away. That's who we are now. We're going to live with this pain. But I can endure it. But because who has been there with us from the beginning, comforting us and bringing his family together? One answer: God. We are not alone. Thank you.
I'm going to take it off there because those lights are blinding me. I don't care if you can see me. I want to see you. Let me tell you something first. Maybe you have been affected by what you've seen. But I can tell you I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready as recently as 2 weeks before this accident happened. I was not prepared for what God was going to do. I wasn't prepared for the loss I was about to face. And then God started moving. I had 2 sermons on Sunday. 2 Sundays in a row. Both of them were about Paul and Silas. Paul and Silas went on a mission trip, and they went to a particular town, and there was a woman following them around, scoffing them, I don't know exactly what she was doing, but she was pestering. She was really just kept getting after them. So Paul turns around and he casts the demon out of the woman. And the people who were making money off of this woman, because she was like she could tell the future, and she was telling people's fortunes and stuff like that, they got really upset. And so they pulled Paul and Silas in front of the authorities and accused them a bunch of things and falsely accused them, beat them in the streets. They got thrown in prison, falsely accused and thrown in prison. And what did Paul and Silas do? That's right, my brother Camilo. That's right. They worshiped the Lord. And so God put that message on my heart 2 Sundays in a row before the accident. 2 times. Why did he do that? Because he knew that I would need to worship him through my darkest hour. My little girl. Hey guys, if you've got a rotten little child, love her, love them. Because she was rotten. But I loved her. Take advantage of the opportunity to hold them tight and love them, because you don't know when that's going to end. And let me tell you something. I had a preacher contact me on Facebook. He said, I face these kinds of things in counseling with people regularly. Can you give me some advice on what to say to them? And you know what my answer is? I don't know. I don't have any good advice for you to tell you on what to do after this happens. Because there's nothing you can do if you're not ready. You've got an opportunity tonight. You've got an opportunity right now. You're here not by your own design, but because God has set you here to hear what I'm about to say to you.
Amen.
What I'm about